My name is Antonia Lowden. My friends call me Tony. I was born in Seattle, Washington, into a household that taught sewing and embroidery and knitting and even tatting as necessary skills. Everybody was raised doing these things. We lived near Volunteer Park, which was the original site of the Seattle Art Museum, and our weekend jaunts quite often included walking to the park, seeing the wonderful demonstrations the artists were doing in the museum, or sitting on the grass and listening to the Seattle Symphony. It was a very rich cultural scene to be born into. My parents took me to see the Merry Widow opera when I was 12, and I still think back that that's where my early appreciations for the arts came. So even though my major in college was nursing, I was always still drawn back to the textile arts. In a stint with American Airlines later in my 20s, this gave me access to visit museums all over the world, and my appreciation in fine arts grew. Later, after I married and settled down, I was able to take a floor loom weaving course, and often I would do my weaving when the children were napping. When I was in my 30s, I attended Convergence, which is a gathering of weavers, which occurs every other year across the United States, and it offers workshops. So something magical happened when I was there. The teacher noticed that we were finishing our session 15 minutes early, and she said, "If I just let you go out the door, you'll probably just go get a cup of coffee, but instead, I'm going to give you a piece of blank paper and ask you to write down your 5-year goals. Don't worry about how you're going to get there. Just write in your wildest dreams what you see yourself doing 5 years from now." So I wrote down getting my MFA in textiles. Long as we're dreaming, why not? Within a month, I got a flyer from Fiberworks in Berkeley that offered just that course, and you could work at your own pace. So, when my last child was a senior in high school, I started commuting over the summit to Berkeley, and within 5 years, I had my degree. This was a wonderful time of opportunity because the program included individual studies with a lot of well-known artists. And our assignments often included visits to gallery exhibits in the Bay Area. But still, after trying many art forms, I still was always attracted back to textiles. Later, back in Nevada, I heard of a teacher coming from Hungary to teach at Sierra Nevada College, and her form was tapestry weaving. So I enjoyed that course, which set me from a floor loom onto a wall frame where you could see the whole piece you were working on. When you work on a floor loom, your work winds around a breast beam and disappears from sight. So also floor loom weaving is mostly pattern weaving used for clothing and upholstery, whereas the frame loom is like a big canvas, and you can put your own designs behind it and see the whole thing if you want to make changes. So that appealed to me more, and I went to study with a well-known Edinburgh artist, Archie Brennan, when his course was offered at Mendocino, and it's his technique that I still use today in my classes at Nevada Museum of Art, and in my studio where I have a 12-foot wide frame loom on the wall. This allows me to do large commissions for banks and individuals, and I've had fortunately, quite a few large commissions that paid for graduate school. And people seem to find me when they have a special request for a special spot, and They're often involved in the design. Working with interior designers is a completely different thing than weaving your own designs. Then you're executing their designs and pleasing a client. So I've kind of bounced back from those two areas in my 40 years of weaving. And lately I was challenged by the museum to respond to Leo Villarreal's light show. David Walker called and said that whereas his work was hard edge, mine was soft edge, and it might be interesting to play one against the other. So I was challenged to make a few pieces in response to his large exhibit. This was an opportunity and a challenge. I'd never had such a challenge, but it was coming up with what I could do in fiber in response to his evolving, moving, color-changing light forms. And as a nurse, to me, they looked like images I'd seen under the microscope. So I ended up doing a body of work called Biology as Technology. And it ended up that the development director from the new medical school saw the show and felt it was appropriate that it end up there. So it is in the new Pennington building on the University of Nevada Medical Campus, and it will be something that lives past me. That's something that I enjoy thinking about. Other times I've responded to paintings by friends and said, I think that would make a nice tapestry. And they've been gracious enough to lend me their images. And my latest commission, it was based on a Calder image that a client saw, and she liked the colors and the simple graphics. So we designed a piece based on those circular forms that Calder likes so well. I think that there's an endless future to weaving, whether it's on loom, off loom, floor loom, or frame loom. It's just, I never will be bored exploring the many, many directions of fiber works.